This is a story about an Asian girl who becomes transracial and gets surgery to become white. A young Chinese immigrant named Joan is in the car being driven by her dad, Roger, to her new school in America. When she arrives at school, she is surrounded by Mayo people who treat her like an outsider, even making racist faces at her. At lunch, she sits next to whites, but they cannot stand the smell of Asian food, probably due to their usual unseasoned food. After school, they visit her father, who is currently working as a janitor in a high school. Roger asks about her school, but she lies about having a friend. While waiting for her dad to finish his overtime shift, she wanders around the hallway. She stumbles into a room where prom is being held, and the prom king and queen are announced. A blonde girl wins the crown. This gives her the dream of being a prom queen to receive societal acceptance. Years later, she starts her morning with a clothespin on her nose to make it pointy and does makeup tutorials to change the appearance of her eye shape. On her social media, she sees Olivia Hammond's reels where she got a TV role and will not participate in prom. This gives her hope of a potential opportunity to win the prom queen title. When she posts an image online, she uses a filter called ethnos to look blonde and white. After posting her whitewashed image, she receives a message from Ethnos stating that she is a top user of the filter and is qualified for a secret opportunity. Joan goes to the table to eat breakfast with her mother, Sophia. She invites her to join their Chinese New Year celebration so that Joan can learn how to make dumplings. But Joan isn't interested and leaves. At the school cafeteria, she hangs out with her bestie, Brenda. Her crush, Nash, bumps into her, and Brenda asks why she has not approached him yet.
I'm perfectly happy just fantasizing about his hairless penis.
Girl, it probably ain't even big. Joan is excited about her possible chances at winning prom queen, but Brenda tells her that being prom queen is meaningless. When Olivia enters the cafeteria, everyone's head turns. However, she's very performative on her TikTok, pretending to actually care about issues. After school, Joan and her mother go to pick up her father from work. She goes to the mansion and meets Ms. Harmony Adams. Harmony brings tea and invites her in, when suddenly the noise of a breaking vase is heard, and they run towards her dad. Her dad is on the floor cleaning up the broken vase with a cut on his hand. They beg her that it'll never happen again. Getting pissed, Harmony does Asian breath work to calm her tits. She relaxes, but she warns not to repeat this mistake, or she will ban them from cleaning her and her friends' mansions. At their home, they are treating her dad's injury because healthcare is expensive. Roger will be unable to work, so he asks Joan to temporarily take over his cleanings for now. At school, Joan and Brenda prepare her prom queen booth. They try to promote and give away some flyers, but they get ignored. Upon walking through the school halls, she sees that all the previous queens are white blonde girls, so she decides to dye her hair blonde. If Joan wasn't already dumb for this, I'd warn her that the bleach has seeped into her brain. At school, Olivia notices her blonde hair, thinking she was one of the white girls. Then after classes, she invites her to join an afternoon manicure. At the nail parlor, Olivia introduces her glazers, Big Back Greta and Kat. She uses Joan's Mandarin to haggle with the Chinese owner for a nail care package. Then Joan asks if Olivia can endorse somebody as the next prom queen, and the other girls start to bribe Olivia for that endorsement. Afterwards, Olivia announces that she will endorse the next prom queen within a week. Olivia thanks Joan, but when she sees the undyed hair on top of her head, she gets disgusted and leaves. And we can see your nasty roots too, Olivia. Joan receives a message from Ethnos about a limited free promo to change her hair color permanently. She goes to the Ethnos shady office. There she is greeted by a guy who knows her name. He opens a secret door leading to the actual lobby. The receptionist calls her name and tells her to wait for the doctor. On the monitors, she sees testimonials from the recipients of the surgery. Dr. Singer arrives and meets Joan.
I love seeing young faces in here. You know what I always say? The younger, the better.
This got to be Epstein himself. He is a surgeon who does race swap surgery. He can change eye color, skin color, and your voice too. He introduces his white crew who are previously people of color, and he shows that he used to be black. Damn, boy looked much younger as a black man than that wrinkly face he currently has. He believes in the philosophy that if you cannot beat them, join them. Then he explains she can have the race swap surgery, but she will need parental signature since she's a minor. To convince her to race swap, he gives her a free hair transplant surgery to permanently make her blonde. She agrees and has the surgery done. The next day at Harmony's mansion, Joan cleans up vomit in the bathtub. Harmony tells Joan that next week's cleaning is canceled because her family will be on vacation in Peru. Later, Joan is so annoyed of Harmony that she rubs Harmony's toothbrush in between her butt crack. After her job, she is outside the mansion waiting for a car ride home when a car driven by Greta passes, and she covers her face to hide her identity. The next day at her booth, she sees that her posters have been vandalized with insults about her cleaning job. This pushes her to proceed with the race swap treatment. She goes to her mother and asks for a signature while telling her that it's for a field trip. After getting the signature, she undergoes surgery, and we're subjected to listen to a weird song. She wakes up and sees her new face in the mirror, making her shed tears. The surgeon says,
Get tickets to a Michael Bublé concert. That experience as a white person will change.
While walking home, white people are actually nice to her. But when she arrives home, her parents don't recognize her. They tell her to get out. Joan proves her identity by singing in Chinese and tells them that she had surgery. Then she shows them the brochure of the race swap surgery. Her parents are heartbroken by this transformation because now Joan looks like she enjoys pumpkin spice lattes. They go to the clinic to request that Dr. Singer change her back to Asian, but the surgery is irreversible. Dr. Singer tries to gaslight them to race swap and upgrade to white privilege, but they don't want to look granola. After leaving the clinic, her parents ask her why. She tells them that she wanted an upgrade to fit in. Sophia insists that being Chinese makes them special, but Joan explains that she is so tired of being teased for having slanted eyes. Sophia almost turns black and beats her Oz, but Roger stops her. The next day, while looking at herself in the mirror, she notices her skin peeling off and she eats it because it reminds her of tofu skin. She enters her school with a new identity, Joe Hunt, and sits beside her crush, Nash, who already starts flirting with her. At lunch, she gathers her strength to go to Olivia's table and lies about being the daughter of a producer, which gives her a chance to sit with the popular crew. And like clockwork, they all eat their dry salad. In the bathroom, she asks about their plans on Saturday night and remembers that Harmony's family will not be at the mansion this week, so she invites them to Harmony's house for a party. At the party, Joan dances with Nash, and he confesses something nasty, but Joan only stares at Olivia's group, thinking about her prom queen endorsement. Later inside, Joan peels off some hanging skin. Olivia asks her about her family and her future plans. She tells Olivia that her dad wants to be a singer, so she wants to sing too. Olivia pressures her to sing, and she sings to get her prom queen endorsement. At the party, Brenda confronts Joan that she knows her identity because of her lunchbox. She snags Joan's phone because she knows Joan's phone password, which reveals Joan's true identity. Brenda confronts Joan about the surgery and why she kept it a secret, but the two end up reconciling because they missed each other. When they get back to the party, Olivia kicks the people of color out of the party. Brenda defends her friend and tells them they were invited by Joe. Olivia asks Joan to kick them out, and she obliges. Brenda is disappointed that after the race swap, Joan is nothing but a sauerkraut lover. After this, Olivia endorses Joan as her prom queen successor. When she arrives home, her parents are furious, but she starts to act all defiant and refuses to give her cell phone up. She really acting like a white girl now. The next day, she wakes up and looks in the mirror. She removes some of the skin peeling, but her original complexion appears. At school, Joan joins the activities of the mean girls, like eating grass. The PA announces the list of prom queen candidates, which includes Joan. This makes them happy. After lunch, Joan tries to apologize to Brenda, but she's tired of Joan's fake Oz. Then Joan goes to the bathroom to puke. She looks at her face, and it looks like it's sagging, a true side effect of having white skin. She visits Ethnos to ask Dr. Singer about her face, but his schedule is full until next year. The receptionist sees the face deterioration and informs her that this is a common side effect, so she gives her tape and cream. At home, she applies the cream on the affected area and tapes her face to lift the sagging parts. Then Sophia knocks on the door. Her parents inform her that Roger has lost his job because Harmony had fired everyone who had access to her house, knowing that someone had a party there while she was away. Sophia wonders if Joan did it because she knew Harmony would be on vacation, but Joan denies it.
You know, maybe you should take this as a blessing. Now you can finally learn English and get a real job.
Damn, even the white entitlement is prevalent. Later, Joan leaves to go to prom. Her parents ignore her because they are preparing for a small feast. She asks what the occasion is, and her dad tells her that it's their 10-year anniversary in America. Her dad compliments her before she leaves for prom. At school, she is accompanied by Nash and is greeted by Olivia's crew. Romantic music starts, and she drags Nash to dance. While dancing, the two start to kiss, and then Nash notices that Joe's eyelids are sagging. She runs away to fix her face. In the bathroom, her face droops down. Olivia enters the bathroom, and Joan hides her face. Olivia sees her drooping face, and Olivia tells her that it is normal after the surgery. She assists her with the tape and cream to help temporarily fix her face. Damn, Olivia had the Michael Jackson surgery too? After repairing her face, they head back to hear them announce the winner. Joe wins and she heads to the stage, and she's elated. But her face starts to droop and everyone gets disgusted by it. She loses consciousness from the humiliation. Joe wakes up on a couch. Olivia approaches her and consoles her. She looks in the mirror and sees her ballsack face. Olivia and her father, Hank, tell her that they are happy to meet a fellow ethnos enthusiast. Hank insists that she should join their dinner. Damn, I hope my tits don't sag like that. At dinner,
How wonderful is it to be white?
Joan asks what race they were before the surgery. Olivia tells her that they used to be Cuban and were one of Dr. Singer's patients. He is so happy to be white and believes that Dr. Singer's surgery to transform people of color to white is the true way towards equality. Bitch, please, Cubans in Miami act white already. He asks her if her parents' race swapped, but learns that they did not. He feels sad because people of different races usually separate, so he invites her to join people like them and says they are true advocates of equality. Olivia tells Joan that her mother did not race swap and hasn't contacted her in years. Joan goes home and sees her parents happily eating dinner. She enters the house and her mother sees her face. She runs toward her mother, crying from the regret of race swapping. It's giving The Substance meets Mean Girls. In her bedroom, her parents comfort her. Her mother tells her that they grew up in China, so they embrace their Chinese heritage. Knowing that Joan grew up in America with a Chinese face, she understands that her daughter experienced a very confusing childhood. Her dad tells her that he understands the feeling. He wanted to fit in back when they first arrived in America, but he decided to accept himself. He tells her that he believes that she will find her own path too. After a few days, Joan goes back to Ethnos. The business is booming. Joan tries to confront Dr. Singer to change her back, but he gaslights her into believing that it's good to be white. In her extreme frustration, she goes to her bedroom to rip out her face. After some ripping, she sees her original black eyes and tears up, hysterically laughing at the idea that her face might still be there. This was an unhinged body horror movie. Great acting by the two main leads. What did you guys think of this one?
Did y'all like that one? Honey, well, make sure you like and leave us a comment. I try to respond to as many as I can. And if you like Tubi, Lifetime, or just straight up trifling movies, make sure you subscribe for real. For more videos, you can click here or here.